Hey guys, Steph here. Today, going to have another go at lovely Nora. See if we can take her down finally. I did record a game before, but the video element messed up. So yeah, it was a fun game, Queen Sacrifice. But anyways, no one's gonna watch a black screen. I'm not making videos for blind people, so we get another go. And yeah, usual settings. I'll play as black this time, and hopefully we get a good game. So e4. Gonna go for a attempt at a Sicilian opening, but Nora Queen h5 on move 2, so that's standard for her. So let's just go d6. And against this, obviously I've got two options, blocking here, blocking here. I kind of want to hang on to my knight for some reason, so I'm gonna go with the bishop block. And then maybe recapture with the queen. I want to keep knight c6. It's just what I'm used to playing here, so I'm not sure. I guess there is a Sicilian where white goes bishop e5, but not sure what the correct piece to put in the way is. Alright, so now it's our turn. And probably the next best move is just to tickle that white queen, move like this. And the nice thing about the queen here is it is eyeing the knight from jumping into the squares it would like to go, so let's move in. Okay, so queen back here. Yeah, if you have to move your queen there, you probably shouldn't have brought it out to h5 that early, but it's Nora. Right, so obviously we're lacking a nice bishop g4 to further harass the queen, because that's been traded. I kind of want to go for some sort of, attempt at a dragon, but I just don't want the knight getting in here now that the queen's supporting it. Maybe it's not a big issue. I mean, white could also move the queen in for like a boring queen trade. So I'm thinking a6, and the only thing I'm looking at now is what happens with e5, which might actually be a decent move, and I'll have to bounce the knight around. So I think I'm going to start with knight c6 just to hold up e5. Okay, so white threatens it anyway. Now one thing that's interesting is I am ready to castle queenside, which could be exciting. Now I just need to look at a few moves. So something like knight g5 to eye up this pawn, I don't think is a problem. I can just play e6. Queen defends it. Obviously these pieces can try to jump in once I've castled. How annoying is that though? And let's say I've castled and white goes anyways for e5. Is that so bad? What about something like this? Maybe that. But I could just recapture and hold that pawn, although maybe something like f4 gets a bit interesting. So obviously this pawn is also will end up being a fork between these two rooks. So just a few things to calculate. I also have obviously a knight jump in there just to ask the queen where it's going. So you never lose by hanging at the back. You never win, sorry. Let's go for it and see what white's got. Okay, just a passive, quiet move, d3. Right, so let's the bishop out. Now I think e6 is a nice move at some point. I don't know what the evaluation would be here. I imagine I'm slightly ahead in development, maybe like minus 0.3 for black, but it's a just a game. Queen's also defending this, so something like knight b4 is not so tempting anymore. So I need to decide kind of what I'm doing with some of these pieces. Yeah, white's probably going to castle kingside. G6 is still an idea. I'm wondering about h6 here to prepare g5 if white's going to castle kingside. And then maybe a move like e6. I don't want to go e5 and just sort of make this very fixed pawn setup and leave this hole here. So h6 looks like a nice quiet move. I don't know about throwing my pawns forward on the king side yet. I need to kind of see what white is going to do. So I'm going to play h6. Alright, so we do get a castle king side. I have a target here, hopefully, if I can arrange it. And I think, when do I go g5? Do I do it now? Do I do e6 first? Is there anything I should look out for here? I don't know. Do I get the king to safety? It's also something. I imagine a move like this is coming soon. I don't know if white should play that. That doesn't look great to me. The knight jumping in at the moment, I don't see what it's doing. I can just kick it away, so let's go for my attack. This opens up that. Okay, so white's gone for a break in the center here. I don't know if it's too early, if I'm honest. So this is obviously not, that's not an idea, right? Maybe this is a good move. So taking, the moment my c5 pawn's not under fire, although it could come under fire soon. So maybe white's gotten this in just in time. So looking at the move before for knight g4, I mean, I'm offering something like this. Don't know how good that is. It actually looks alright. Yeah, so it's a question if I want to capture or move the knight. And I don't really know if I like capturing at the moment. I can see a lot of exchanges, so takes. I'd probably have to take back, takes. Somehow I'm a bit caught in my development, just for the moment. On the other hand, the knight doesn't have a great square to go to other than, we can go to e8. It's not really ideal. I could capture with the knight first. It's the same difference, sorry. So knight g4, let's just look at that, which is probably where I would want to put the knight. And maybe just takes. Takes. I mean, I don't mind that. If he kicks it. It's not a bad square for the knight to sit on. So more what I was worried about is this kind of tactic, where he's back on f7. Oh, she is, sorry. And what have I got there? So taking, and then I was looking at a move like f4 just dislodge the knight. Then maybe I can take, I mean it gets a bit wild. Knight takes and then I take. I think that looks fine. Let's try it. Okay, so just captures. None of that nonsense. Again, gets a nice control on this file. So obviously I'm one move short of just challenging it myself. And what's white threatening here? Honestly, well this knight's, well actually I missed that the queen's defending the knight, so ignore all that early analysis. Okay, so I could bring the knight back in here and on the capture, take back, but that looks alright. I need to get this bishop moved. So I think I should just put it on its most aggressive square. I just don't know what white's next move is here. Not sure. Maybe h3. Maybe. Let's go bishop g7. It looks like a good move. Oh, it's a quiet move here. So I think I'm actually doing quite well here. I've got some aggressive pieces and threats, and white's a bit slow with its own attack. So obviously I'm never going to be taking here, just giving a free move to white. Now I could play some safety moves. There's no light squared bishop, so something like king b1 is decent to play. a6 is another decent move to play. Right now I can't see a huge threat from the knight coming here or something landing on that square. So I can probably look at some way to be aggressive. Now immediately I can challenge the queen and try to take over this file because white hasn't connected these two guys yet. And where's the queen going, or is it just going to block with the knight? Something like d5 takes. That gets interesting. F5's also a nice move. Just keep pushing my pawns forward, see what happens. So now I'm wondering about the other rook coming over actually, because I probably want one of the rooks facing the queen. And white's not putting much, so I think I can afford to move one defender from d6 there. So let's go for it. Oh, bishop e3, of course. So, I can't just take that off if that's going to be a strong piece. I can also make use of the pin and threaten f4. There. Maybe a move like h3. f5 looks quite good. I guess I'll just step the queen out of the way, but f4 just sort of, just really squeezes white a bit, and maybe I can play f5 and then threaten to take. I can also, so I should be looking for tactics here. I've got a lot of pieces set up quite optimally. Something like knight coming in there, knight takes, bishop takes. Everything's looking at that square. And I guess I can add another defender to that, as long as the queen's sitting behind it. Oh, sorry. Knight in and white can't take because I can just do that. That's a big problem. So what is white planning to do on knight d4? Because it probably doesn't want double pawns here, so I guess the queen goes back there. And then am I doing anything with that? So if I take and queen recaptures, Huh. I don't know, maybe there's a more elegant solution here. Something like knight in there and queen there. Let me prepare with f5. f5 is always going to be a good move. Okay, so h3. All right. So I have this in my back pocket now. I also have f4. So now it's starting to get a little bit interesting. I can't ignore this capture for the moment. So knight coming here is immediately attacking the queen. Well, it doesn't have time for the capture, so probably a move like this. That's kind of leaving it in the same position as before. Now, if I had h5 defending the knight, maybe I could give this up, for example, something like that, and try to create some kind of attack, but that's a bit much for the moment. So f4 here captures. Don't even have to recapture immediately. Might get a little bit complicated. Some kind of knight jump. I don't know. So, and on taking pawn there. This is something. Maybe that's a better approach. So I get rid of this nice bishop. Pawn takes. And maybe on f4, just d5 is fine. Maybe I should be patient. Just drop the knight here. The queen's still in the pin. And I can have options for g4 rather. So also looking at if I went with the knight, I can capture with his own knight. It could get kind of interesting. Pawn takes. Maybe pawn takes here. I might take this knight rather, keep the pin up. If we were to recapture, I have this amazing bishop. With this still being a recapture. So yeah, a lot of stuff. The other option is to just take this bishop on the recapture, go for f4. I assume d5 is what white wants, but then I've got this nice bishop, so a way I can get it in is something like knight here, and probably a recapture, and then I get it in with a check. It's got a lot of scope. A lot of pieces are traded, so let's it's a bit simplifying. Let's go for it. It's late. Okay, so we're going for f4. Okay, just side steps. Interesting. Okay, what does white want on the recapture here? And something like the knight coming in. So it looks like there could be some trouble there. I don't know. I wouldn't be super comfortable. This knight coming here. This will be a decent knight for a while. So I'm just throwing moves out here, but something like g4. I don't know if it does too much. to be honest. So I'm just going to recapture, I think. I just want to see what white does. Now, obviously, they can trade, but this square is looking interesting. If I just pop a knight in, just wondering what white's planning. So let's find out. Okay, so just doubles here. That's fine. This rook's well defended. And if I were to just capture here, because that's check. Last time I checked. So there's a pretty nasty pin here. How's white getting out of that? I can't see it. I like this. Okay. Well, this dark square bishop, I'm not that worried to potentially give it up at some point. I don't have to give it up right away. The pin is still in place. I can go ahead and attack this queen and find out where the queen wants to go. Maybe there. I can also be cheeky and add some pressure with my own queen. So just even the knight at the moment can't move to help that because the queen's on that square, and I'm also double defending this. So I think the queen will be kind of offside. I don't know where it wants to go right now. Here, maybe? But I can definitely work with this pin. Another option is to try to double these rooks. So I have a move until white just gets the king out of the way. But I want to kind of keep the pressure up. So if I control this file, then I can sneak a rook in. And I think these pawns might be kind of irrelevant. At some point I just have to capture, and when they recapture, that pin is still in place, although the knight can get behind here. So let's get the rook in. That looks good. I was just thinking maybe I could go here to try to trade queens. That could have been a move. Alright, white's eyeing potentially this pawn, but again the knight can't move for the moment. The queen's holding the rook, so it's maybe a good move, I don't know. And what about something like this? And then I guess rook here, but then I can capture. So I'm threatening to come in here with the queen, and then what? When I do come in with the check there, king here, this maybe then to win the, force the rooks off, takes. Yeah, looks interesting. Another idea is to try to double. This is a very good position. I'm just trying to think how to actually convert it, because sometimes I have this problem with converting it. One thing about coming in here, just let the knight in. It could be interesting. Um, Maybe I should just maintain it with like h6, because if white ever tries to break the pin, then I have rook in here. The queen's not doing much. Just like a quiet move like a6. Just stop the knight from jumping in. Well, the knight's got this square now. Might be a pain. Hmm. All right, let's just look at what is the danger for white if I'm coming in. Okay, so something like this. I don't think so. I don't have time for that. So come in, check, king there. Maybe that's fine. Because I don't have this hook for the bishop to drop back to. I drop that pawn. I can capture, captures. The queen doesn't have a check. Oh no, it's on this rook. No, the queen's defending it. Okay. Alright, so if I'm coming in, let's just say white plays something like, I don't know, knight here. So check, king there. Well, that's going to give me this, which is forcing exchange. So rook takes, um, rook takes, pawn takes, queen takes, and then I can just exchange the queens. Should be fine. Let's go for it. Okay, so just preemptively drops the king there. So now I can consider this move earlier without it being forced. I can also, so I can't just force everything off. Takes, and check here. Takes, where I have a rook versus knight, same number of pawns. So trying to look if there's anything better there. Bishop here. I don't know if it's any better to exchange on this pawn rather. Rook takes. Kind of keeps my advantage. That's late. I'm just going to go for some exchanges. Okay, so let's just check again if I want to go for this. Yeah, I think so. Alright, rook versus knight. White may win one of them back. Let's see. White's technique. So I could go active here. Obviously these two pawns, I don't think I can defend both of them. This comes with check, but I can just go here. It's not a big problem. And I can't trap the knight. I don't think so. I'm just wondering, white may take here. That's probably a better pawn to win. So maybe I want to... It's kind of annoying. So maybe I want to defend that, but then some move like probably king here. Stopping my access to f2. I can go a6. The rook's defended for the moment, so I think that's fine. And I feel like maybe some kind of c4 and I can work my rook in. Still, these pawns are up for grabs, so let's just see. Just reject this idea because I think this is the better pawn to take. And I need to hold this. Something like here, then has back. My king comes here. And can white defend on c4 there? Can make life difficult for me. One needs to save the knight. It's interesting. The other option is to takes here. I might try to go for these two, but the rook's holding that for the moment. So maybe here and then there, and on takes, then I will try to pull this off. Go for these two pawns. I mean, I can start just mopping up back here. Let me see what we get out of that. I think with c4, I'm going to get enough activity. So, and white lets me get in there. Okay, that's, didn't think it should have taken that. Strange. Okay, b4. Nice. Nice little move there. Okay, so I could capture I can take b4 immediately. Let's just look at a few options. It takes here. Sorry. Takes here, takes. Rook takes. My pawns are looking a little bit silly there. I feel like the capture here is better. Okay, well, it just goes there. Alright, so stopping me from getting there. Well, just there. So on the capture here, okay, what if I bring my king in to tickle that knight? So knight just going back. And then on here, it's gonna pivot around there. Okay, I see. So here, the knight just goes back with check. I get my king more active. Doesn't I have a good square? Maybe then captures. Let's ask that knight where it wants to go. Okay, but now it's giving up this pawn. And I don't know what, that's such a threat. So can white stop? The king's very far away. If I just capped, wants that. Wow, almost missed that. That would be sneaky. Okay, so well, I'm wondering something here. So takes, eventually sacrificing my rook for this, if that's enough. But yeah, my king needs to get out of this potential. I kind of want to keep these two pawns supporting each other. Yeah, my king needs to get out of this knight fork, which would be ugly. So a move like this gets my king active, which is nice. I could do this rook here just to sort of force white to capture there. Maybe on this, something like that. Do I want that? You know, let's ask white the question where its knight is going. Okay. Okay, so it goes there. Now this pawn is looking very sensitive. And if I drop back here, so I guess it wants to follow up with a check. And if I go here, what's it got then? Knight here takes a knight there. Okay, full of tricks. Full of tricks today. I'm going for it anyways. Right. I'm actually kind of stuck here. I was thinking I'll just step out somewhere else, but well, I can just, right? just get out of that thread. Yeah, white's kind of running out of tricks with the knight. It's a tricky piece, but... And just defend that pawn. Okay, I was thinking some kind of... I thought this would have been better. I don't see what it's doing there. It's probably going to go for the check. But at this point I can just give up my rook, to be honest. I want that check. I was thinking here just to take it. I think this is losing for white, for white. Okay, so it goes for this check, and honestly, it's white's really stretching. This is just going to be an endgame that I should not mess up. Does it want... What did I do? Oh my god, I meant to go here. Well, that wasn't really demonstrating. I was just wondering if it wanted this, and I just did a nothing move. Okay, what's it threatening here? If I just go there, has it got some kind of... Has it got anything? Not that I could see. Yeah, okay, so wanted that. Here it's got a check. I'm going to stay near the middle. Okay, and on capture, let's be careful with those arrows. We just capture that. The king is getting in closer. Oh, I'm giving up that pawn. Just isn't the greatest. And I want to kind of box the king out somehow. So let me move here. Okay, so it's made a little hole there. Now if I go here, it's going to hide there. So let's force it to hide. Okay, now it's guarding that. I'm making this trickier for myself, potentially. I don't know if I want to fix these pawns down yet. I think my rook's going to be more flexible than the knight to get around to that. And I'll just leave it as a move I can do at some point. I like the king where it is. Well, maybe I should be discouraging some of the checks white wants to give. Let's try to box the king in so I can like never really get anywhere useful. And I'll just go about it that way. Okay, it might be looking to, once it attacks the pawn, I can then, oh, it's going to fork. Okay, and then on this, it's going to go here, isn't it? Interesting. But white might get checkmated if it's not careful. So can I set this up? Or can I just give it up? Okay, so let's calculate a little bit here, here, here. Ooh, losing a lot of pawns. Actually, I don't like that too much. I can lose both pawns in one go, so I might have to lock this. Yeah, I've kind of trapped my rook from getting access here. So I can't lose both for sure. Definitely making this trickier for myself, for sure. Where's my checkmate coming in? I need my king on g3, so here, here, here. White's sort of frozen there. Does it have there? And if there, then there. I guess that's an idea. So should I just keep pushing? So here, push, check, here. Check. No, there's no check there. Let's just push. Hang on, so if I push again, and the check, and here, we'll take out there. It's gonna have to give it up for the pawn, and I think I should be in time. Okay. How's it getting to my pawn here? Is my question. How is white getting to my pawn? Because that's looking like checkmate in a second. On just a second. Right now. And we've got her. Well, thanks for watching. Let me just check. This video kind of dragged on, but let me just check what the review has to say. I'll show you guys in a bit. Can I do moves here? Yeah, I can. Oh, just a smooth downhill slope. It's what we want to see. Decent accuracy. 2500. Yeah, I don't rate that. That's those are fake news, fake numbers right there.